Malaysia is often seen as a beautiful country with rich culture and stunning landscapes, but it's much more than that. Hidden behind its scenic views lies a powerhouse that plays a crucial role in the global economy. With its strategic location and abundant resources, Malaysia has a significant impact on some of the world's largest nations. In this video, we'll explore how 7 countries rely heavily on Malaysia's support to keep their industries and economies running. From semiconductors powering tech devices to its strong manufacturing sector, Malaysia is an essential link in the global supply chain. Now let's dive in. But wait, before we dive fully into this, take 2 seconds and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on our future amazing content. And hit the like button. Shocking. 7 nations that would collapse without Malaysia. 1. Singapore. First on the list is Singapore, Malaysia's closest neighbor and one of the most advanced city-states in the world. Singapore's relationship with Malaysia is complex and deeply interconnected. One of the primary ways Singapore depends on Malaysia is through shared trade routes. Due to its compact geography, Singapore relies on land access to Malaysia to connect with surrounding regions. Malaysia serves as Singapore's gateway to the rest of the Asian mainland, supporting its efficient trade flow, which is the lifeblood of Singapore's economy. In addition to trade routes, Singapore depends on Malaysia for access to fresh water, an essential resource that Singapore lacks in sufficient quantities. A significant water agreement between the 2 countries allows Singapore to draw large volumes of water from Malaysia, specifically from the Johor River. This arrangement has been in place for decades and is crucial for Singapore's everyday life, from drinking water to industrial needs. Without this critical water supply, Singapore would face severe shortages that would affect not only its citizens, but also its thriving industries. If Singapore lost Malaysia as a resource partner, the effects would ripple across its economy and infrastructure. Trade disruptions would increase costs and cause delays, while a sudden lack of water resources could lead to a national crisis. Singapore's unique position as a global financial hub would be severely impacted as businesses and industries rely on stability and efficient logistics, which would be compromised without Malaysia's support. 2. China. Next, we have China, one of the world's largest economies and a manufacturing powerhouse. Malaysia's role as a supplier of critical resources, such as palm oil and rubber, is essential to China's production sectors. As one of the world's largest producers of palm oil, Malaysia meets a substantial portion of China's demand for this versatile product, which is widely used in food processing, cosmetics, and personal care products. China's booming automotive industry also relies heavily on Malaysian rubber for the production of tires and various vehicle components. Without a steady supply of these resources, China's manufacturing and consumer goods industries would face cost increases and delays, which would hinder production and affect both local and international markets. Beyond palm oil and rubber, Malaysia also exports a significant amount of electronic components to China. Malaysia is one of the top producers of semiconductors, a foundational element in modern technology, from smartphones to industrial machines. Chinese companies, especially those in the electronics and tech sectors, depend on a reliable supply of these components to meet production demands and stay competitive on the global market. If Malaysia were to withdraw its exports, China would face a slowdown in its manufacturing sectors, leading to delays and increased costs in producing everything from consumer electronics to automobiles. This dependency shows how interconnected these 2 economies are and how Malaysia's resources are crucial to sustaining China's economic momentum. 3. Japan. Japan, one of the world's most technologically advanced nations, heavily relies on Malaysia for 2 critical resources: natural gas and electronic components. Japan imports a significant portion of its liquefied natural gas, LNG, from Malaysia to fuel its energy needs. Since Japan has limited domestic energy resources, this steady supply from Malaysia is essential for keeping Japan's industries, transportation, and households running smoothly. Any disruption in this energy flow could lead to a surge in energy costs and force Japan to seek alternative, likely more expensive, suppliers, which would impact both consumers and manufacturers. In addition to energy, Japan also depends on Malaysia for a steady stream of electronic components that fuel its massive tech and automotive industries. Malaysia's highly developed electronics manufacturing sector supplies Japan with semiconductors and other key parts used in everything from consumer electronics to advanced machinery. Japanese companies such as Toyota, Sony, and Panasonic depend on these components to meet production demands and sustain their global competitiveness. A breakdown in this supply chain would disrupt production schedules, lead to delays, and potentially harm Japan's economy by affecting exports and domestic sales. Without Malaysia's reliable exports of natural gas and electronic components, Japan would face significant hurdles in maintaining its position as a leading manufacturer and exporter. This dependency underscores Malaysia's role as a critical partner in Japan's industrial landscape and highlights how the loss of Malaysia's resources would ripple across Japanese society and economy. 4. India. India, with its booming population and expanding economy, is one of the largest consumers of Malaysian palm oil, a staple in both cooking and industry. Palm oil is widely used in India for food preparation, cosmetics, and various industrial applications. Malaysia's abundant production meets a significant portion of India's demand, and without this supply, India would face a serious shortage of this essential commodity. The result would likely be a sharp increase in prices for palm oil-based products, impacting millions of households and businesses across the country. Finding alternative suppliers could be difficult and expensive, putting pressure on India's economy and food supply chain. In addition to palm oil, Malaysia is an important supplier of machinery and electronic parts to India. Malaysia's contributions in these areas are essential for India's industrial growth, which relies on a continuous flow of technology imports for manufacturing, infrastructure development, and even defense. As India continues to modernize and expand its tech and industrial sectors, the demand for machinery and technology components from reliable partners like Malaysia remains high. Disruptions in this supply chain would slow India's growth, increase costs, and hinder the country's development goals. If Malaysia were to stop exporting these critical resources, India would be forced to search for alternatives that may not match the cost-effectiveness and quality Malaysia provides. This would strain India's food industry and create bottlenecks in industrial growth, underscoring the importance of Malaysia's role in sustaining India's rapid economic ascent. 5. The United States. The United States, a global leader in technology and innovation, is another nation that depends significantly on Malaysia for essential imports, particularly in the tech industry. Malaysia is a top producer of semiconductors, a crucial component for the U.S. tech industry. From smartphones and computers to automotive electronics and medical devices, these semiconductors are the backbone of countless industries in the United States. Many American companies, including Apple, Intel, and Tesla, source key components from Malaysia, relying on its robust and cost-effective semiconductor production. If Malaysia were to halt these exports, the U.S. would face severe production delays, increasing costs, and potentially creating a backlog across various industries. Beyond semiconductors, Malaysia also supplies the U.S. with natural resources like rubber and palm oil, which are essential for various manufacturing sectors. Rubber is used in the healthcare industry for items like gloves and in the automotive sector for tires and parts. Palm oil, meanwhile, is found in numerous food and cosmetic products in the U.S. If the U.S. were to lose access to Malaysia's supplies, it would experience delays and price increases in products that Americans use daily, creating shortages and potential economic strain. In short, Malaysia's exports are vital to keeping production lines moving across the United States. A loss of these resources would create a significant disruption, highlighting just how essential Malaysia is to sustaining the operations of some of the world's most influential companies and industries. 6. South Korea. South Korea's thriving tech industry is significantly dependent on Malaysia's production of electronic components, particularly semiconductors and other high-tech parts. As a global leader in electronics and advanced technology, South Korea's tech giants like Samsung, LG, and Hyundai rely on a constant and reliable flow of these critical components to keep their factories running smoothly. Malaysia plays an essential role in ensuring that South Korea's production lines remain stocked with semiconductors, which are a foundational part of everything from smartphones to automotive electronics. If Malaysia were to suddenly halt these exports, South Korea would face severe production delays, leading to cost increases and product shortages across its tech and automotive sectors. Not only would this disrupt South Korea's domestic market, but it would also have ripple effects on global supply chains, particularly in the consumer electronics and automotive industries. Without Malaysia's support, South Korea could struggle to maintain its competitive edge, potentially damaging its position as a tech and manufacturing leader on the global stage. Oh, and by the way, I know you're liking this video already. Go ahead right now and show me some love by hitting the like button. Done. Alright, let's continue. 7. Indonesia. Despite being Malaysia's neighbor, Indonesia shares a deeply interconnected relationship with its neighbor in terms of shared resources and industries. Both countries are major producers of palm oil, but Malaysia's refinement capacity and production infrastructure play a crucial role in ensuring that Indonesia's own palm oil exports remain competitive on the global market. If Malaysia's palm oil supply were disrupted, Indonesia would face serious challenges in maintaining the balance of production and distribution, leading to supply shortages and price increases that would affect not only the palm oil industry, but also households that rely on this affordable cooking oil. Beyond palm oil, Malaysia's energy supplies, particularly natural gas, are critical to Indonesia's power sector. Many of Indonesia's energy infrastructure projects depend on Malaysian support, and any interruption in this flow could result in higher energy costs and instability in Indonesia's energy supply. Malaysia's strategic position also helps maintain vital maritime trade routes, which are essential for Indonesia's export-driven economy. Without Malaysia's support, Indonesia would struggle to maintain its industrial momentum, and its economic development could be severely hindered. 8. Thailand. Thailand's economy is deeply interconnected with Malaysia, especially in terms of manufacturing and trade. Malaysia's steady supply of palm oil, rubber, and electronic components is vital for Thailand's industrial growth, particularly in the automotive and electronic sectors. Thailand's automotive industry depends heavily on rubber from Malaysia for tires and vehicle components, and any disruption in this supply chain would lead to higher costs and delays in production. Furthermore, Malaysia's electronics manufacturing sector plays a critical role in keeping Thailand's tech industry competitive. Without Malaysia's high-quality semiconductors and other components, Thailand's electronics manufacturers would face significant setbacks, affecting everything from smartphones to industrial machinery. Malaysia's strategic position along critical trade routes also facilitates efficient trade between Thailand and the rest of the world. Any disruption in these routes would have serious implications for Thailand's export economy, leading to delays in shipments and increased transportation costs. In short, without Malaysia's resources and logistical support, Thailand's manufacturing and export sectors would be left in a vulnerable position, potentially causing a slowdown in its overall economic growth. 9. Vietnam. Vietnam, with its rapidly expanding economy and industrial sector, is another nation that heavily depends on Malaysia for essential resources and strategic support. Malaysia's role as a major supplier of palm oil plays a critical part in Vietnam's agricultural and food industries. Palm oil is a vital ingredient in many food products, cosmetics, and industrial applications, and without Malaysia's consistent supply, Vietnam would face significant shortages. The impact would be felt across the entire food processing industry, potentially leading to price increases and supply chain disruptions. Additionally, Malaysia's highly developed electronics and machinery sectors are indispensable for Vietnam's industrial development. Vietnam relies on Malaysia for a steady supply of key parts and components used in the manufacturing of consumer electronics, automotive parts, and machinery. Without this reliable supply, Vietnam's industrial growth would slow down, and the country would struggle to meet its growing demand for technology and infrastructure. Malaysia also plays a key role in maintaining efficient trade routes that connect Vietnam to global markets. Disruptions in Malaysia's trade infrastructure would hurt Vietnam's ability to export goods, which could lead to delays, increased shipping costs, and supply chain bottlenecks. In summary, Malaysia's support in terms of resources, manufacturing, and logistics is vital for Vietnam's continued economic growth, and without it, the country would face significant challenges in sustaining its development and industrial goals. In conclusion, Malaysia's impact on the global economy extends far beyond its borders. Singapore, China, Japan, India, and the United States all rely heavily on Malaysia's unique resources, from energy and natural resources to advanced electronics and critical trade routes. Each of these countries would face serious challenges, rising costs, shortages, and production delays, if Malaysia's support were suddenly taken away. This undeniable influence shows just how crucial Malaysia is in the intricate web of global trade and production. Malaysia's resources and strategic partnerships sustain economies, power industries, and help stabilize some of the world's most important nations. Let us have your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us. If you found this information enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content about cities and cultures from around the world.